So welcome back into the forecast. The weather is beautiful today. Bit rainy last night, sunny today here in Dublin, Ireland, but plenty to look forward to. We haven't been back since the US PGA Championship or the Charles Schwab. I was a little bit sick there last week in order to do a podcast. I won't tell you what was going on. You can it was gut related anyway. Sort of been doing the rounds here in Ireland. And in fairness, I did have a few. I was out last weekend. And I had a few beers, so that probably didn't help with the situation. But feeling much better now this week. I actually need to go to the dentist. I've had wisdom tooth coming up again. I just got the one pull there last, just absolutely doing my head in. But unbelievable stuff, we have to say, from Scottie Scheffler at the USPGA Championship. We did mention here, and I know, I saw one guy in the comments giving out about some of the picks, but listen, I've had a bad run in the majors this year. Everything else in between has been really, really solid in terms of picks, but the majors this year haven't been great. So we did bounce back at the RBC Heritage after the Masters. We did get a winner on Justin Thomas, so hopefully we'll get something again this week. Obviously, last weekend we had the Charles Schwab where Ben Griffin got over the line. Unbelievable stuff from Ben Griffin to get over the line there. Fun final round. I'm really glad to see, and we talked about this as Euro Classic does seem to kick on players in their season. We saw that obviously he won with Andrew Novak, and we've seen Andrew's had a really solid season so far, but it's great to see Ben get in the winner's circle alone. So unbelievable stuff from him last weekend. Scottie Scheffler finished fourth. Without even playing well again. He's unbelievable, this guy. It's just insane how good Scottie can be when he's even sort of playing, not even at his full capacity. So I expect this week he'll be want to get back in the winner's circle after having a week off at the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. But great stuff from Andrew Griffin. Ben Griffin, Andrew Griffin. We have that up on the channel there if you want to go listen to the interview. Really sort of interesting interview there from Ben Griffin. He spoke about his family, that one there where the mouse is on, where he spoke about his family in 2008, the recession really hammered them in terms of their finances, lost their home, everything. So unbelievable sort of bounce back story. Delighted for him. I think he seems like a nice guy as well. A lot of the comments in there have been pretty positive towards Ben, a guy who's sort of really growing in stature, but plenty of other things obviously going on this week in the world of the PGA Tour. We also have the Memorial, which is underway right now, and my God, I'm just looking at it here. This is why I'm late. I'm sorry, I have my picks up. You can check them on my Twitter, Niall McGrath 4. I put them up earlier this morning, so I'm not sort of fooling anyone, but I'm looking at some of the rough here, man, and JT spoke about it. Holy shit. It is long. It's the longest he said it's ever been, and the thickest it's ever been at Muirfield Village for Jack's event, and it does look pretty daunting. And I just have it on here in the background. It's I would be probably going around that golf course in 200 or more. If I'm going to be fucking honest, but I'm looking forward to this week. It is like a major setup. The only player, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes' time, is Rory McIlroy from the top 20, I think, in the FedEx Cup that isn't playing this week. And he also shunned Jack Nicklaus. Didn't even give Jack a reason, which I thought was pretty bad. So he's extended his media silence to one of the greatest in the game, the 18-time major winner, Jack Nicklaus. And pretty interesting considering the fact that I think, Rory does a lot of his practice at the Bears Club. Man, he wasn't able to give him a call or a heads up. Very odd altogether and pretty poor in my opinion. But actually, I'll tell you what I might do. I might do a different segment on that, talking about the media stuff and the blackout of the media, which a number of players have done. And McIlroy, obviously, most recently, Shane Lowry. I think it's bloody disgraceful. But anyway, we can talk about that. I think I might do a separate segment on that because there's a lot of things you can bring into that. I had the same issue a number of years ago. I used to cover mixed martial arts. I covered mixed martial arts for 10 years, and one or two guys were, criticizing the media and things like that. So, it's a give and take game. It's not all take. A lot of these guys earlier on in their career would have been glad for the media exposure, and now they just seem to speak or do what they want, which I think is just a little bit out of touch with how the situation actually should be. So yeah, okay, we're not going to harp on about the PGA Championship for too long, and unbelievable stuff, as we said, obviously from Scottie Scheffler, running away with that. There we go, is the leaderboard. A lot of the names did. It was an odd leaderboard throughout the week. A lot of the big names did miss the cut. Justin Thomas for one. Apologies. Shane Lowry. There was a number. It was Jonathan Vegas, obviously leading for a long time. Scotty just came out. John Rahm made a charge on the final round, but then petered off the last 5 holes. I think he bogeyed 6 of the last 5, and Scotty just played probably some of the best golf we've ever seen on his last 5. So it was over. But some of the stats Scotty's putting in ahead of this week at the Memorial are absolutely insane. And I think we reached an up. I read a stat there earlier on that he's from the last time he's at the Memorial, he's minus 45 from tee to green. He's averaging 4 strokes per round on the fields at Muirfield Village, which is just insane level stats. So I think we're at a week here, especially with him not winning last week, that we're looking at Scotty potentially. I'm not going to bet him this week. I'm not backing Scottie Scheffler. I've said it before. I said it at the USPGA. I'm not going to back Scottie Scheffler. I'm not going to bet on Scottie Scheffler at 3-4 to 1. He probably, anyone who finishes ahead of Scotty this week is going to win. Perfect golf course for him. His shot shaping obviously starts off left to right in terms of a fade. A lot of the greens here are tucked at the back, so you're going to need that shot. A classic Jack Nicklaus course setup. I think the third smallest greens on the PGA Tour at Muirfield Village. We also have loads of stats written down here. The rough is out of control. As I said, go back, have a listen to Justin Thomas speak about it on the channel there earlier on this week from the PGA Tour press conference in Dublin, Ohio, and he just speaks about how tough this setup has been and how tough it's going to play for the weekend. The weather hasn't even been great, but they have that hydraulics, the under air system on the green, so they can dry it out as much as they want. Expect that to come into play at the weekend. They'll dry it out even if there is rain, and those greens are going to play firm, hard, and fast. I guarantee you. 7,500 yards, third smallest greens. They're going to be very slick. You got to be accurate off the tee here. It suits a player with an all-round game here who can shot shape, who's going to find the fairways is crucial, and who's going to convert some putts. That's how I'm looking at it here. Justin Rose is out at the moment, and that rough does look absolutely daunting. Beautifully cut course, but we know Muirfield Village well. But yeah, you're going to have to shape your shots the right way here all week in order to get up in that leaderboard. So let's have a little look at some of the past winners here. Scottie Scheffler, obviously last year. Victor Hovland 2023. Billy Horsch 2022, who's not playing again. I don't think he's in the field because of that operation. John Rahm, Patrick Cantlay. I like Patrick Cantlay this week. He's one of my top 2 picks this week, just in terms of the way he's playing. And I just feel this season we're not going to see a third year where Patrick Cantlay's not, or fourth year where Patrick Cantlay's not going to win a PGA Tour title. He's won here before, obviously in 2019. As I said, he's really solid around this track. So let's get straight into it. These are my selections this week, and as I mentioned there, Patrick Cantlay, he's going to be my number 1 picks here. He's bubbling. He's playing a little bit better than he has been in the past couple of seasons. I think there's 3 top 20s in the last 5 events. Contesting, competing a little bit better. You just see those little things that we used to see with Pat coming back, and a guy who's won around here. I think it's crucial, and it just suits him so well, this course. It really, really does. Let's have a look, see if we can grab up some of Pat's finishes in the last 15. Was right in world number 15. So let's have a little look here. Miscut USP Championship. Listen, I don't mind that when players come in. There were so many players, top players, that missed the cut at the USPGA. It's not going to be a major issue this week. Tied 4th at the Truist Championship. Tied 13th tied 36. He's trending in the right direction, in my opinion, and going, especially on a course where he's won on before. This is going to suit him down to the ground. I really did like what I see at the Truist Championship from Patrick Cantlay. So yeah, I think, solid off the tee, can shape the shots, good on the greens when he gets going. It's just been too long for a player like Patrick Cantlay not to be on the leaderboard. We won't talk about his slow play now. Don't get me started with that. He does my head in, but I really do like Patrick this week as one of my top 2 picks. And you'll get Patrick on the exchange anyway. You'll get him there at where are we at? 35 to 1 on the exchange. Probably obviously a little bit lesser odds if you're going on a sports book, but definitely, in my opinion, someone to sort of look out for if you're going to be backing a winner this week in terms of not playing Scottie. And this comes to my second one, Xander Schauffele. Not a really good record around here, but again, it's like Patrick Cantlay, a guy who's a 2-time major winner last year. You're going to yourself, it's a lot like Scottie earlier on in the season with the injury. Came back into it. You could see him slowly get better until boom, boom, boom. And we've seen what Scottie's done in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think we're sort of, we did mention it. I did mention, I think it was before coming 2 events before the PGA, I said Scottie wouldn't win and then he would go on and do something else and then win, which ultimately happened. So I think we were looking at the same here. Sorry, what event was that? What did Scottie win before the PGA? Sorry, when he hit the CJ Byron Nelson, the record PGA Tour low, equaled it. I think we're on the same sort of trajectory here with Xander coming into the US Open in 2 weeks' time. And I really have liked what I've seen the last number of weeks. Tied eighth is his best finish here, which is last year. His shots, look, this is what I'm about to say to you here from Data Golf. Brilliant website. Check it out, by the way. Unbelievable stuff you'll get to see on Data Golf here. Look at this stat here. Look at the total amount of shots gained here on the right. A little bit worrying there off the tee, but again, the last 2 weeks, he's corrected that. He's gone up in the last couple of weeks there. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, right, a guy who's like, there's the drop-off areas where you see with Xander Schauffele. That's around the time when he was coming back in from injury. So if we can get him, if you're getting 26 to 25 to 1, 20 to 1 here. Like, as I said, if you're betting without Scottie, like even an each way bet, that's 5 to 1. If you're putting that each way. Quarter odds, top places 1 to 8. Honestly, I think this could be a really, really good track from 4 top 20s in his last 5. All parts of his game, as you see there, genuinely trending in the right direction. The overall total, as you can see, strokes gained. For me, it's a no-brainer to probably have a few quid on Xander Schauffele this week, in my opinion. Okay, let's have a look at some of the each ways I have down here as well. For this week at the Memorial, I've Shane Lowry, again, another guy who's missed the cut at the US PGA Championship, hasn't played since, but again, a guy gaining 0.7 strokes gains in his last 5 events, tied 27 times on his last 10 events. Each way bet, again, this is definitely where they're at. It's a tough course. Shane likes the tough courses. It's like sort of like, well, we're sort of compared to Bay Hill, for example. It's going to be one of those sort of challenges. You're not going to see a score. I'd say 12 under will probably win this, depending on the weather. Definitely won't be over 15. So between 8 and 12 under, I predict will win this at the weekend. Lowry striking the ball probably better than he ever has. Short game, again, has been better than last year. It's definitely progressed. Still areas to work on. Still a worry if the putter isn't hot. But again, shot shaping in terms of what he can do with the ball. Shane Lowry's a guy I think is definitely worth a little punt this week. Each way, definitely an each way bet, but definitely a good one in my opinion. And we've said it a lot this year, and we've been pretty much bang on a lot of the time with Shane Lowry in terms of actually getting on the each way. It's a bit like Tommy Fleetwood. When's he ever going to get another? Like, I know Tommy hasn't won on the PGA Tour. I think the most top 10s ever without winning, Tommy has. Shane's sort of on that elk over 5 years. I know he's official PGA Tour wins. Obviously, won the WGC. He's won the Open Championship with counts, but he's won the Zurich with Rory McIlroy. But he needs to get another solo win. In my opinion, on the PGA Tour. Is he going to finally break over that line. We saw him at the truest. Thereabouts. So, in my opinion, at the price you're getting as well, you're probably going to get Shane 40s, are you? Probably around 30 to 1, 28 to 1. Pretty good odds, in my opinion, even if you're slamming a bit of an each way on that for Shane Lowry. Really interesting stuff in terms of his blackout with the media as well. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks. Well, not a blackout. Well, yeah, he's pretty much been a blackout as well, hasn't he? Unbelievable stuff. Not doing him any favours, to be honest, Rory McIlroy, in my opinion, even with the audience. I think a lot of this stuff on Twitter that was sort of said a video came out there, Shane walking up at the truest and the kid put out their hand and he didn't hit the kid's hand. There was some of the comments were pretty damning, to say the least. Okay, Lucas Glover. I'm going to go with Lucas Glover here. And the reason why, again, like Lucas is one of these guys totally underappreciated, in my opinion, on the PGA Tour. Look at his stats. 7th in driving accuracy. This is what you need around here. So good. He's such a good ball striker. So underrated. 7th in driving accuracy. This is a really interesting stat for me. The putting has to be hot for Lucas to win. Obviously with the long broomstick putter. But right, check out this stat. 5th in proximity to the hole on the PGA Tour this year. And he's 5th. If he can get the ball, like proximity to the hole, and he's getting the ball within, he's 5th inside 8 feet, 8 feet and inside from conversion rate of putts this year. I like that stat. Considering a guy who is so accurate off the tee, beautiful iron player, can shape the shot whichever way he likes most of the time. If he can get the putting hot again this week, that is like crazy odds again. You'll get him 100 to 1 on the sports book. I've got him 162 to 1. Lucas always gives you, 9 times out of 10 will give you good value. And I think that's really something to look at this week is Lucas Glover thereabouts. With that, I really do like that. I have to say, in terms of having a good each way outside punt, as we see there. Siwoo Kim. That's going to go to next. 3 top 20s in his last 5. Jordan Spieth was talking about it. This guy has such an abundance of talent. I think we're seeing it slowly creep back up to the levels where it was a number of years ago. And I think it's only a matter of time again. It's a little bit like Patrick Cantlay, but on a lesser level. He's crawling his way back up. And each way bet here, you're going to get, so you probably get about 34 to 1, 35 to 1 on Sportsbook. 45 I got there on the exchange. I do like that. I think it's a decent price to have a little tickle on this week. There's definitely been a resurgence in form there from Siwoo Kim, especially over the last month. How are his stats actually at the PGA Championship? Let's have a little look to see. I'll pull something up there and see if we can just have a little. Am I light gone off there? No, it hasn't. It seems like it did. Let's have a look at Siwoo Kim and see what we can get up here in terms of what he's done. Some of his stats. Okay, so did he make the PGA Championship cut? Yeah, he finished 8th. What am I talking about? He finished 8th. That's why he's been on my radar. 28th then at the Charles Schwab, and coming in obviously at the Memorial this week. A guy who's been around the block, knows his way around tough courses. Interesting bet this week. I wouldn't go mad in it, but I think there could be some value there with Siwoo Kim. 100% definitely. And another one we're going to have a little natter about is the 2025 Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley. Keegan has been unbelievable this year. And the interesting for me is, well, noticeably with Keegan, I thought, with obviously the impending Ryder Cup captaincy coming up, I thought potentially he might have sort of fallen off towards this part of the year. We're actually officially over the halfway line of the PGA Tour this year. But he hasn't. There's been no real sign of major drop-offs. Shots gained the last 4 events off the tee, 8 in total. Putter needs to be hot, though. But the interesting thing with the putter is trending up for Keegan Bradley. And I do find that quite interesting coming in this week Let's see if I can pull those stats again with Keegan Bradley. And out of golf. There was some very interesting reading there. Do I have it? I don't. But no, some interesting stuff, as I said there. Shots gained in the last 4 events off the tee. And 8 in total over his last 8 events. Putter needs to be hot, but it is trending up every week over the last 4 events, which is interesting. Needs to be good off the tee. Again, a little bit like Lucas Glover in many ways. Has to be hot with the putter. So we'll see. But really, really interesting, in my opinion, to see what he's going to do this week. But I do, as I said, the top 2, like I'm going to pick this week. I was actually a little bit, if we look at sort of other bets and outsiders, I was going wrangling with Justin Thomas and seeing, and the reason why you sort of have to look, I know he hasn't an unbelievable record around here. I think tied at 8 or 18th, possibly his best finish around here. And that's why I opposed it. And the reason why I opposed it this week is due to the fact the driver is still a little bit off. And I think you need to be so particular around here in terms of getting onto the fairways and avoiding the rough at all costs, or you're not going to win the tournament. And I think, look at the PGA. I know he missed a number on the mark like Shane Lowry, very unfortunate, but the driver is just a little bit off. Still, we're still seeing that push to the left, putting unbelievable. It's compared to last year. I think he was 130 last year. He's up to like 5, 6th, and he was 5th in the world. That's the reason behind it. Iron play, unbelievable as always. Wedge play, really good, really solid. So I think we'll oppose JT this week. So that means probably get on him. Like the luck we've had in the majors, coming off the major. But I do like Cantlay, and I do like Xander Schauffele this week in terms of odds. Hard to look past Scottie Scheffler in terms of what he's done this year. We're looking at Tiger Woods level shit. It's not normal. It's really not normal. So it's very hard to pick against him. So that's why I think we have to look out for guys who could potentially win up along the higher echelon. This is a big boys course. You look at the past winners; they're all incredibly talented golfers. I don't think we're going to have a sneaky winner this week by any sort of stretch of the imagination. I think you're looking at a guy in the top 20 in the world that's going to win this, and I think we sort of pretty much laid that out there. Well, sorry, a few of those guys are not in the top 20, but like as I'm saying, they would be the each ways that you sort of have to look at. Who we talked about outside of Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and obviously it was the other one. Who else have I back? Sorry, Xander Schauffele and Pat Cantlay. So a really fun week ahead. Looking forward to it. It's on now. It's on the box. Sorry, it was late. So if you want on it as well, videos are absolutely lighting it up there. We've a lot more stuff coming. I have a lot more stuff coming, encore stuff as well. We're going to do a bit of crack with that. It's going to be a bit of fun. If you're getting value out of this, do like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Hit the notification buttons. There we are. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to come back. I think I'm going to do a segment on. I do have that segment coming. I recorded a bit the other day with the ChatGPT stuff, the custom fitting. Also going to talk about. I'm going to start releasing little sort of more segments of news bites. Rory McIlroy again. The media silence is pretty incredible in my mind. Like these guys, as I briefly mentioned earlier on, a lot of the time they just don't understand the way the media works. They would have been happy, more than happy, 10, 15 years ago to go and chat to the media, and you have to take the good with the bad, in my opinion. I think Jack Nicklaus said that the other day. The press conference is on our channel there. I'd like to talk that in more detail. It's not one you can sort of just spout off the bat, but in terms of like their branding and their advertising, what they get in, they would have been. They're very happy to talk to media when it's all rosy and gravy, but things go down. There's a little bit of questioning. There's a little bit of controversy, obviously, with the driver situation, which is it's been blown out of proportion. Anyway, there's been a lot of talk, but I think you have to question these things when they do arise, and to do a media silence, blackout, not talk to the media, it's just a little bit baffling in my opinion. And there is good media, there is bad media. You're going to get you're going to get the good and the bad, but just a little bit baffling to me. So I'd like to have a proper whole segment on it. Maybe actually even get one of my media pals to come on and talk about it, because it's pretty baffling, in my opinion, that these guys only take like the positives. You have to take the good with the bad, and we can get in a lot more detail about it. But also in the news this week, before we get out of here, the starting strokes have been removed. You see it there on the screen from the Tour Championship this summer. It is interesting. Like, it's sort of, what do you do with it? It's obviously very American orientated in terms of, I hated the starting strokes. I agree. I think it's probably a better way to do it because it makes it more exciting for the viewer. But in terms of the money, like, Scottie dominates all season long, and then it comes down to one event and someone else wins it. It's a little bit, to me, I don't know what else they can do with it, really. I loved what Scottie said. I thought it was fantastic. I can actually probably pull this up here. It's on the YouTube channel as well. Scottie spoke about, it's this one here. Because as players, a little bit of sound there, but Scottie spoke about terms of, he doesn't care about the money. It's all about the title for him. Unbelievable reaction from a guy, like, he is minted, clearly. He's so much cash. But for him to come out and say that, it's sort of, the PGA Tour will be super happy. Jay Monan will be super happy to come out saying that, It sort of puts a spark in it. It's refreshing to see. I like Scottie. It can be a little bit drab at times, but sometimes when he comes out these passionate rants and explains himself the way he did, fascinating sort of insight into the way he thinks as a competitor, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll be thereabouts on that Sunday at East Lake. And I think what they're going to do as well, this is what I've heard, the course setup for East Lake for the FedEx Cup decider is going to play, they wanted to play around in terms of really hard setup. Obviously, the course went under major renovations last year. They want to do that in terms of getting sort of a real major feel for it, which I think brilliant. Like, that's what fans want to see. They don't want to see these courses where you're going out hitting fucking 40 under, like me on a midweek, taking the piss. Couldn't bloody score. I won't say where, but yeah. And I think it's amazing that they want to do that. But I'm still, the format still baffles me in a lot of degrees. I generally don't know what you can do with it. I really don't. But there has to be a sort of a better way than, Scottie leading all season. Maybe after the regular season ends, give Scottie a huge chunk of the money and then have the Tour Championship at East Lake with a larger than normal purse, even though they are massive at the Signatures these days, 20 million plus. Do a larger one for the Tour Championship at East Lake. I don't know. It really is. It's irritating, but it's better than the starting strokes. Starting strokes was just it's not a spectacle you want to see. Guy leading, you have 3 or 4 guys out of the 30-man fields in contention, maybe on the Sunday, like we saw Scottie run away with last year. That's what you're looking at with the starting stroke. So it is going to be more entertaining for the fan. I'd say there'll have more people tuning in this year. So it does make sense on that level. But still, again, if Scottie's dominating all season, what's the point of the FedEx Cup ladder? Doesn't really make sense. But anyway, one more thing before we get out of here. As you see there, Will Zalatoris. Really upsetting news to hear that he's facing further surgery, spinal fusion surgery. After, the injury a couple of years ago when he pulled out when he was leading that event. It was the St. Jude, I think it was, in 2023 or 2022. And now we've heard the news this week that he's got spinal surgery. Really, really devastating news for Will. Poor guy's been through so much, battle back, played some really good golf earlier on this season, and then to have that news and that surgery must be absolutely devastating. That is the same surgery that Tiger Woods got, and I don't want to put it like the curse and stuff on it, but it's a long road back from here. It's going to be really tough. And listen, I hope he does get back to the levels we once saw him at, but I really do worry for the guy, because once you start getting the spinal surgery, you're going to have to rely on other parts of your body to help you out. That's why we saw Tiger struggle with his knees, and obviously the crash didn't help the car, but there was other areas where Tiger really started struggling with once he got that spinal fusion surgery, because you're relying on other parts of your body to help get through with that swing. And when the guys are swinging at that speed, that fast, the wear and tear is pretty unbelievable. But I really am hoping the best for Will. It's a bloody sad situation. Such a young guy as well, but hopefully he can battle back and get back within the next year or so on the PGA Tour. And back seeing him where he was. A phenomenal player a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And I think we'd love to see that talent back and all looking good. So yeah, fingers crossed him. And just spare a thought for Will there over the weekend while you're watching this, because I'm sure he'd be watching on. This is tough stuff for him to watch. The course, I'm watching it here now. Denny McCarty for birdie. No, the so-called best putter in the world. I don't buy that, but anyway, very good putter, but I don't think he's the best putter in the world. Okay, if you're getting enjoyment out of this, getting value, hit us up there. I need to pull up. What I need to do as well, I need to pull up all the stats we've had this season, because they've been pretty bloody good. We've got loads of each ways, loads of winners. Don't tell me about the majors. Outside of the majors we're talking about. Majors have been a disaster this year, but we'll get the next two way better than we have the first opening 2 majors of the year. So hopefully we'll get someone this weekend. I reckon we're looking at Pat Cantlay, Xander Schauffele. The action is underway. Sky Sports in the UK and Ireland. I think it's ESPN in the United States. Okay, what else are we doing? I think that's pretty much it, guys. Just having a little flick around here. Give me 1 second, see if there's anything else. Starting strokes. As I said, I'm probably going to do a segment on the media situation, because I think it's pretty outrageous at this stage that it's still continuing on. This sort of silence or blackout or whatever it is. And, Jack Nicklaus, shunning Jack Nicklaus, I think was really poor luck. Especially for a guy who's actually used his facility. I doubt Rory's paying to use the facilities in the Bear Club. I don't know, to be honest, Jim. But anyway, just such a legend of the game, and not to notify him. It is Jack's event. It just sort of got underneath my skin. I think a lot of people will probably agree with that as well. It's just about setting examples when you're at the top of the game, and I don't think Rory McIlroy often does that in the PGA Tour. The perennial, in my opinion, player on the tour that changes mind weekly on different sort of opinions, and we saw that, I think, with Liv, how much his flip-flopping did. But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. Enjoy the golf. Maybe if we're in the mix, we might do something on Sunday night if I have time. Just sorry about sort of them messing around lately. It's just that I'm generally work crazy weird hours, so it's sort of hard to get the time to come on and do this, as I'm doing it just while the event has just started. So listen, anyway, watch yourselves. Hope if you're out in the course, you're I'm going out actually playing this evening. I'm going to miss a bit of the golf, but if you're out in the course, call 4. Make sure to call 4, because I put up a video on Twitter there actually. My God, some people don't know the etiquette of golf course. There's a girl standing like 20 yards in a buggy, vlogging or something, taking selfies. I don't know what she was doing, and the ball came and smacked her in the back. 4! Always call 4. There was no call for 4. So, for myself and Niall McGrath, do me up on Twitter. Pics all there, Niall McGrath 4. Same on Instagram. So from Niall McGrath is good luck and good night. 4! All right.